Hello, everybody. This is Vinnieart. You guys know me as the creator of City of Venus, co-creator of Through the Woods. I have a number of art books out there. I did a children's book. And today I have a very special guest on. I guess you could say she is the true queen of ComicsGate. I think our original female person here, creator, Martina Markota, Lady Alchemy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hello. I like that intro.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we want to go over everything, kind of how you got into comics, what was your inspiration, how you ended up finding yourself here through like your life's journey and all the crazy stuff you've done. So yeah, let's give people a little taste of that. How did you get into comics?
Yeah, sure thing. Well, I was born in the 80s, so when I was a kid in the 90s with the dial-up internet and the big modem, I was like, I don't know, me and my sister, my older sister, we just loved the like beautiful, sexy girls. And we didn't even really read comics. My sister does like collect like some Fathoms and things like that. Nice. I don't know if I'm glitching for the audience. If they can like let you know if I glitch, like I can repeat myself, but I know my internet connection kind of sucks. But yeah, no. So my sister had like loved collecting like the Fathom, Dark Child, Witchblade. Oh my god, I love Witchblade because I was always into the. You know what they say? I think Ethan mentioned this, that like guys and girls view it kind of differently. Guys are like, oh, I want to be like that. And like girls are like, that's like me, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of how I was like, oh, Witchblade, that's like me. I had like long brown hair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I love.
I was a huge fan as well. And Michael Turner is like, one of the nicest guys to, well, he was. I mean, rest his soul. But yeah, I was totally inspired by all that stuff as well. I mean, a little bit earlier and then going into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't really technically read the comics. We just liked the pretty pictures. We liked the beautiful women. So that's also why I resonated with ComicsGate as far as like these beautiful women and them calling you like misogynist. We're like, what? We like the pretty girls. Like we grew up as little kids being like, look at how pretty these girls are, you know? Mm-hmm. And we would just save all the pictures and collect them. And so I always idolized those women and their beauty. They had the thick thighs and the like really beautiful curves, beautiful face. Yeah. And it was just something that I always liked, like visually. And then when I grew up, I became Lady Alchemy, a performer. And I always envisioned myself as a comic book character because like I'm in New York City, which is like Gotham, right? It's like Gotham City. And I'm a performer. So I wear costumes and I'm running around in the middle of the night, with my backpack of costumes.
And your costumes are amazing. I mean, I've seen some of them, some of the shoots that you've done and things that you've been posting up. Really amazing. I mean, did you make those too yourself?
Yeah, I definitely sew and like basic stuff because it's a lot of flowing fabric. So I really like also as far as art goes, Erte. I don't know if you know who Erte is, but beautiful illustrations, and he has a lot of headdresses, flowing fabrics, really goddess-like looking things. So I always wanted to emulate that, and also kind of like Queen Elizabeth, how she like created this like virgin queen persona where it was like, you're not just a regular like hot chick, you're like this like almost holy figure. So I wanted that presence when I'm on stage of like, oh, goddess.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and so back in like 2000, probably 11 or something, I bumped into someone. I got to find his name and see if you guys know who he is. But he basically takes like celebrities. He did like Coco, like Ice-T's like wife or something. He's done.
I met her a few years back.
Oh, really? Yeah. So she had like a comic book character version of her. So that guy that did that, he also did Adrian, who was like the first like America's Next Top Model. Like she was turned into a comic book character. And I spoke to this guy and he was like, and I was like, yeah, like Lady Alchemy is totally a comic book character. Let's do this. And he was like, yeah, it's going to cost like 10 grand between like the artist, like the penciling, like inking, coloring, like all this stuff, the story. And I was like, ooh, I don't have 10 grand to just make a comic book character. So I never did anything with it. And then like 10 years went by and here we are.
I think I know who that guy is too. Yeah. He had a ponytail.
think so. It's like a little older.
Yeah. Yeah, I know who that guy is. He's weird. I don't know. He's got into a lot of movies and stuff as like a background person, which is crazy. But yeah, because I was showcasing in New York Comic Con, and I remember they were right across from me. So I saw them the whole weekend. That's why I said like I met her, but the guy was strange. I don't know, something about that guy kind of.
Yeah, he's definitely weird. But that was the thing. It's like I talked to him back in like 2011, and it was like, yeah, 10 grand. That's not gonna happen. So, and then here we are today with like Indiegogo, and now it's possible to happen.
How did you find ComicsGate to begin with?
So I was working at Rebel Media at the time, and so I like to focus on more arts and culture stuff instead of like straight politics. Like I'm an expert in art. That was my profession in New York. So when it came to like political commentary, I'm not the one to talk about like immigration or this policy. I was in the arts, and that's when things kind of started to happen. There was Gamergate before the election, and then ComicsGate started to happen. There were some rumblings, and I caught wind of who Ethan was and looked into it a little bit, and I was like, oh my God, people that are like me that kind of aren't SJWs in an artsy scene. And it was the only scene that was like not just bitching and complaining about SJWs, but going the step beyond and like creating content, like doing something to replace what we're complaining about. That's something that I've been looking for. And I'm still kind of disappointed with the political scene because they haven't really picked up on that. It's really just been ComicsGate that's like, we're not just going to complain, we're going to create.
Yeah, I think this, especially this new wave of creators, myself included, we're pushing hard on this because, we are bringing fun back to comics again. We're bringing back the sexy, the action, the adventure, the cooler stories, and we're getting away from all that boring political conversations that the mainstream's trying to do. We see like the Starbucks conversations. No one cares about that stuff. It's going nowhere. I remember there was a couple of Top Cow books I used to collect as well, and one of them did the same thing. Like they started out like there's someone like in a bagel shop or a coffee shop, and then by the time you get to the bottom panel on the same page, there was a huge explosion and everything was happening already and things were moving. Now it's like 5-6 pages of boring conversation at a place like that, and then it really goes nowhere. So it's like, who would spend between like $5 and $10 on these horrible books when you could get these amazing projects?
Right.
I mean, look at this. Almost 100 pages, beautiful artwork, beautiful story, and you get none of that boring crap.
Is that hardcover?
You know what I mean? Yeah, this one's hardcover.
Oh,
this is the one that I'm at the printer right now. This is the proof copy. Everyone loves when I knock on it. But this one's a big one too. This one is almost 9 by 12 inches. You can see the comparison.
Oh wow! Yeah, that is big. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And this is actually this campaign happened because of the fans. So Through the Woods was my very first campaign, and not many people knew who I was. So I released them as a 3-issue floppies right out of the gate. I didn't know how this all worked. I never did crowdfunding before, and I didn't realize it was mostly Twitter and YouTube going hand in hand. So I was on other social media platforms with pretty damn good numbers, I would say, and nobody was buying from there. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And people were telling me it's Twitter and that. So I started building up more. So by the time that one closed, I did fulfill everybody who backed it. And then I said, all right, I'm going to do like these art books. So that's what I did next. I did like a collection of a lot of like the different pinups and cool stuff that I've done over the years of like all different characters. But so, I mean, it's fully loaded. These are 52 pages each. I did it so people could know a little bit more of my style and what I'm capable of doing. So those were starting to do well, and I decided to release City of Venus, which was like my solo comic, which was this one. So this I wrote, I drew everything in this. every step of the way, this is all me. And there's like a ton of work I put into every single page. This story was kind of a fun one too, but this was an idea I was kicking around for a long time. So with all this, like, it started snowballing more. And this one really blew up after I went in demand. Like, I almost did double the numbers. So people kept asking about, what's this Through the Woods? They look at my old campaigns. You know, I did a few others in between there, including the children's book. But the comics, those specifically people wanted. So Through the Woods literally happened because everyone was asking for it. And this was going to be just a regular trade paperback, just a collected version. But I crunched some numbers, and I'm like, well, if I do hit a certain number, I could probably do hardcover. And within a week, I hit it. Wow. So people really wanted it. I was starting to build a name already here. So I want to make sure that people have a really great gift. And like, as an added thank you to the people who back, like within the first 60 days, they're getting a free ash can with that. So it's going to have like all different sketches, behind the scenes stuff. Kelsey Shannon did the cover on this one. So yeah, I'm trying to change things up a little bit. I'm trying to give a little bit more to people. But this is what it's about, right? It's everybody busting their ass to get out the best projects possible. You know, I'm juggling multiple different campaigns, working my ass off, doing these streams, and I want to get more attention on creators like you, people, you know, big names to little names. I keep trying to do the best that I can because we know this is working, right? I'm not a huge name. I'm just like the middle of the road kind of guy, but I'm a hard worker and I do really, really great work. So
yeah, exactly. That's definitely. I mean, I try to do the same thing because I think the arts are super important, especially if you're not a leftist. It's really hard because people don't seem to really understand the value of it, which people should now because we're all in isolation, trying to be entertained somehow. So it's super important stuff. And yeah, I mean, I try to do the same thing. And I went over on my stream the other day over like a bunch of campaigns and I went over yours and I was like, oh my God, this is like based in upstate New York, in the Hudson area. I was like, yay.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I watched that too. Yeah, dude, that was great. Were those pre-recorded?
Yeah, so that was recorded on D Live, and I didn't really do that well on D Live, so I decided to premiere it on YouTube. So it was kind of weird, but like, I don't know, it's kind of cool. You try to multi-stream, but I've been trying to do like restream or something, and I don't know, for some reason like, it's not multi-streaming, so I figured I'll just expand it and post it around different ways.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, it was a great video. I enjoyed that. You covered a lot of cool campaigns.
Yeah, people have some really fun stuff. And yeah, I agree with you. That's the thing is like, I mean, I'm a first-time comic book creator. And to get all the support and the funding that I got on the Indiegogo was shocking. So it's really, really amazing that we're able to like do this kind of stuff. And especially me who has no name in this industry, my first time doing it, and then coming up with problems, many, many problems along the way. You know, it is just like really important for me to like get the best product out and complete it eventually. And then people will be like, okay, like it happened. She did it. So
yeah. And that's the thing, that you are working your ass off to get this out there now, because what happened wasn't necessarily your fault. I'd say maybe partly to blame because of miscommunication, but it's mostly on those people, that artist and the writer who he brought in. Yeah. They sounded like really scummy, shady people.
Sorry, I lost you.
Oh, am I back? Is it frozen?
Sorry, I lost you for a second. What was the last question?
No. I was saying, yeah, those that artist and the writer he brought in, I said they were very shady people.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say my number one advice, if anyone thinking about doing it, is your team. Like, really think about your team. And yeah, I mean, I am to blame for being trusting and just throwing money at people because they asked for it instead of really being super professional about it. Because I'm just like really passive and easy to take advantage of. And so people see the numbers, they see the Indiegogo numbers, they see you know, success and like attention, and they thought that they could input their story through my success and my money. And in the end, when it was getting down to it, not only were things not produced enough on time, but I wasn't happy about it. It wasn't my story. It wasn't the story I wanted. You know, it was something they were trying to use my name and my funding to do their thing. So I started to get like panic attacks of like, I don't think my backers are going to be happy about this. I'm not excited about the story. I don't think they're going to like the story. And this is my first time. If it didn't, you know, if I didn't produce something good this first time, that's it. I'm not going to have another chance. So I had to make the really, really tough decision of like, I'm going to start over again. I'm going to take the hit and start it over again. But, you know,
it was a very smart decision.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want that coming out. Even if they finished it and it came out the way that it was.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been terrible. And you would have had lawsuits because from what I understand, that guy was implementing his own stupid character that was a knockoff or direct ripoff of a Marvel character.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, so like this is the type of person, these are the type of scummy people that shouldn't be in this industry. You know, we've seen enough of them already in the mainstream, and to see what they were about to do to you is really disgusting. So I'm glad you got out of it. I'm just going to address the chat real quick. Hatch is 100% right. You didn't run away. You know, that's why they respect you, because you're here and you're giving them clarity. You're being very open and honest and genuine about the situation and what happened, you know, and you're trying to make that right immediately. Oh, then I just lost there. Well, hold on. She came back.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
My connection is a problem. Yeah,
Are you good?
What they were about to do to me and what they were attempting to do is not what we want.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad you have better creative people now helping you out.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. I hired Vaughn to write the script, and the script is I'm so happy. This is the story that I wanted to tell. That is my story, which always has been Lady Alchemy.
Yeah.
It's about Lady Alchemy.
Yeah, because from what those people were doing, they had you like as like a sub character. It sounded like.
Yeah.
You know, and this is your story. So yeah, that's cool. Did you bounce back and forth with Vaughn and exactly what you wanted, or did he already have the outline that you originally wrote? How did that work out?
Yeah, so when I decided to let them go and I was like, I have to start over again, it was difficult because I studied math at NYU and I was a professional dancer, performer. So I'm not a writer. I hate writing. But I had to sit down and go, let's start the story. I know that I want it to go like this. I know that I want like Nephilim blood in there. I know that I want, you know, my dead grandfather in there, William, somehow to be an inspiration. Like, I know I want this. So like I put all those elements and started being like, oh, I wanted like the performance stuff, you know, where I worked at a theater and I was performing. Then there were bitches in the nightclub that I worked at, the theater that I worked at, that tried to destroy me and my career. And how do I like tell the story of what happened to me in like a fantastical comic book kind of way. So it was actually really fun. And me and my husband who has no idea about comics, he's not into this world. I had to explain to him that Batman and Spider-Man both lost like loved family members. And that's kind of part of like their character of how they became. He had no
their journey. Right.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about that. So it was really funny. And I'm like, you don't know about Spider-Man? You don't know about his uncle? I was like, you don't know Batman's parents were killed? Come on, you know?
He hasn't even seen the movies? What the hell?
I was like, come on, how do you not know this? And so I was like explaining that to him. But then as we're kind of, I'm telling him, I'm like, oh, what if Lady Alchemy does this? And then what if this happens? And I'm like, but I can't seem to, because you know how stories have to kind of converge and fit. Like it has to kind of have this arc and just fit right. All the pieces make sense. Why you brought that up and why that happened in the beginning has to make sense for the big picture. Right. So that was the difficult part of like, okay, how do I get it all now to fit? And it became really fun because he started really getting into it. It was like, how about she does this and then this happens? It's like, yes,
That's
now I'm
great.
getting into comic books. Yeah,
Nice.
so it was actually really fun. So yeah, I ended up making the story like in a bullet point kind of way, handed it to Vaughn, and he read it and said, I really love what you did. Like, I love this story. I really want to do it. I'm going to go forward with this. And he really cleans it up, put it in like a proper script format, and made it make sense and gave it that, because that's what I was struggling with. I had the story of like, this happens and then this happens and then this happens. But what are the text on the pages? What is the captioning?
Right.
That's what I had a problem with. Vaughn, like, don't have to make any comments.
Yeah. I got this. That's cool. Yeah, dude, this is going to be really good. Like I said, you're heading in the right direction. You got good people behind you. I mean, you want to bring up the artists and
well, I mean, and that's like the big thing that I'm like working on right now is like, okay, great, the story's awesome now, and I can't wait to share that with people. But they need visuals, like all these campaigns. I mean, your campaign, Starblades, like whatever I went through last time on my stream, or the College of the Dead. I mean, a lot of really great visuals. I really like Starblades, the way that they did all the character descriptions and like really painted the world, the universe for you. And that's something that I really, really need to do now. So it's frustrating, but damn artists. But I got the cover. Weldon's doing the cover. Did the lining for the cover, and right now Kyle Ritter's coloring it, and it's looking really good. So that's really exciting. I want to get some character sketches done and start to show you guys the story. But I think Weldon's really, really busy right now doing a ton of different campaigns. So I'm not sure that he can do my interiors. So I might need to like still hunt around for an artist. So yeah, I really need to get Smart out ASAP.
I know we were talking a little bit about it. Like I said, my plate's very full. I wanted to work on this, but I can't at the moment. It's too much. But I really, really love what you got going on.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I know that's kind of been the main thing is so many people are like, thank you, this looks really up my alley. But like, everyone's really cranking it out. Everyone's doing their thing. So it's tough to find some really good artists right now because everyone's really making stuff. They're not just talking, they're making it. So yeah. But yeah, and then there's the Pablo alternate cover. Pablo's my buddy, so there's that. And
his cover is amazing. This thing is so beautiful.
Yeah,
dude, incredible. But yeah, this is gonna happen. It's in the works anyway, from what you told me too. Yeah, there was at least a breakdown of the pages and how it's gonna flow. So yeah, Matthew, whatever's going on, give us a heads up. Because this needs to happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah. But I know it's just gonna take a little bit more time.
Yeah, so. I mean that's my biggest issue. Is like I'm sorry, everyone, that it's dragging and dragging and dragging. But like all I can say is that it's gonna get done. I mean, I don't know what else to do like in my life if it's not comic books right now. So this is what I want to do. It's been really fun despite all the problems I've had. It's been really fun, and I really want to do book 2. Again, my husband, who has no idea about comics, now is like, I wish we had book 1 done because book 2 needs to be Lady Alchemy and the Bat Snake Virus. Like, man, we could be doing this right now.
Well, we do. Yeah, we got a question too. Are they still getting their tarot cards?
Yes. So I changed the campaign page around because it had a lot of the old artist stuff on it. So I still have a ton of posters and a ton of t-shirts to sell. So those are still up there. And you know what? The art is like kind of cool, whatever. It'll be kind of like this unique little piece of history of Lady Alchemy that you'll get to have. It's Nagel inspired. So it's cool. So I still have that up. I took down the tarot cards for now, just because like I want to get up. Dinah, my buddy, is working on some tarot cards and stuff. So I wanted to update that perk with the like proper pictures, not the old artist pictures. Exactly. And also, I'm again sorry about all the problems and the delays. But the tarot cards is kind of like the last thing on my plate. I realized I did a ton of spending money on perks and like unnecessarily amount of money on perks. And I have a whole bunch of them stored at my mom's house. I need to get rid of, I need to sell. Yeah. So I realized priority is the book right now. So
Yes.
I'm just trying to get the book done, and then like I'll wrap up that tarot cards. But yeah, it's happening. I'll
Right.
perk back up. And anyone that ordered anything, I have you on file. Everyone is gonna get either their products or an email from me. Don't worry.
Beautiful. And just to clarify too, she was kind of pressured into making those perks from her previous artist, because like again, those perks are supposed to be tacked on after the book is done. So it's that everything was kind of destroyed. The rhythm of it that was supposed to go one way, thanks to those previous people. So again, that's not Martina's fault. Just to clarify,
I learned a lot, and I'm learning a lot from everybody. Everyone's giving me help. Adam, you, like Vaughn, everyone's kind of like putting me into order of how to do this. So I don't think it'll happen again next time. And also my artist wanted to do like a full tarot deck, which is like 78 cards or something.
Jesus.
And so I'm sorry, I'll email everybody that ordered tarot deck, but I'm doing the 22 major arcana. So I think that's really all people wanted, was just a bunch of cool cards, kind of like collectible
Right.
cards. It's the major arcana. I'm not doing 78 cards. That's insane. So
yeah, get the major ones in. That's insane. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to say a quick hello to the chat as well.
Yes.
I know we just kind of jumped in, but yeah, there's a lot of great people in here. So I mean, thank you for coming by. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to showcase Martina just so we could have a little bit of a one-on-one. People can know a little bit more about her, because that's what I do with these. It's so people understand where we're coming from. You know, since she had some crazy situations go down on the initial campaign, and I think those guys are still stirring up trouble. But
yeah, they're trying to make sure, and this is like what I want everyone, especially the backers, to understand, is that they tried taking down the Indiegogo campaign through like false copyright strikes. They tried doing, copyright strikes on my YouTube, on all my websites, anything that has to do with the comic book. They are trying to like destroy this project in order to destroy me. So I'm sorry about all the troubles, but I'm like really trying to push through, because all they want is to make sure that I fail. So they're trying hard to make it fail, but I'm pushing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did have a question too from Hatch. Yeah, he wanted to know if the art up right now is this is the updated art, like your current artists and stuff. Like, I mean, it is, that's Matthew Weldon's piece that we see here. This is going to be the new cover, right?
Yeah. Weldon is supposed to be the artist. I'm not sure if he's going to do the interiors anymore, because he's really, really busy. So it'll suck. I'll be heartbroken. I wanted it to all look really consistent with that look. But yeah, that's the current art right now. That's going to be the cover. The Pablo cover is an alternate cover, but I'm not really going to put that perk up yet until I've sorted out my book. And then we'll do the alternate cover perks and stuff later on. But I need to focus on the interiors right now.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So yeah. Yeah, we gotta get a hold of Matthew and really figure out what's been going down. So yeah, because this needs to happen, and I think he would be one of my picks anyway on a project like this for sure. I mean, again, I would want to do it, but I don't have time, and like he kind of came out of nowhere with it, But my schedule is kind of spoken for like this year going into next. But if I had an opening, I would have definitely jumped all over this, because same thing. I'm from New York. I know the kind of, the aesthetic you're probably looking for on this as well. Some of the extra like art designs. It still kind of kicks me in the ass, because I really, really do. I wanted to jump on this.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind me telling them a little bit about it, because last time also their story was just so bad that I really didn't have much to say when Ethan was like, okay, so now what's the story like? I'm like, it's supposed to be about me, but like, I don't understand their script and like what exactly is happening like in it. So I didn't have much to say, but I think that what the Lady Alchemy will be really, really exciting, not only for ComicsGate and online, for like Twitter, like sphere, but I really think like in the comic book world in general, it's super exciting. It's kind of like Scarlet Witch, but like alchemy, and New York City. Well, I think Scarlet Witch. Yeah, from what I read, it was like New York City, and she's like Serbian, and she like looks kind of like me, and she's like a witch, and it's New York City and everything. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like me, except I'm a real person, so I didn't copy the story. It's literally my story.
Right.
And I'm Croatian, which is funny because Serbians and Croatians are like.
Oh yeah. That is awesome.
But yeah, so this story is really exciting to me. Basically, performer in New York City. She wants to be a star. Kind of contemplates the mysteries of the universe and like what her purpose is going on, what her purpose in the world is. Heads to the theater, does like this performance, this fallen angel thing, and there's other performers that do like really demonic type, like degenerate stuff, and that kind of takes the audience's, like when you're a performer, you either give or you take from the audience, you know. And so the other performers kind of take their energy and like their soul a bit, and my performance like gives back to the audience. And
That's
so
cool.
It intrigues certain elites that are like, what is this girl, like who is this girl? And so they I get jumped in an alley, and they take some of my blood and to make sure that I'm one of that, like this Nephilim, this, you know, elites, part of like the elites. And so this lady, Vinnieart, who's capable of making you a star, she hires me to do this like big performance for world leaders and elites. And they try to get her to do this like Faustian ritual and become part of their clan, and she has to make a choice between good and evil. Like, do I want to take fame and fortune and wealth and adoration and go with these guys? They're supposedly like my blood people, or do I decide to go the path of light and say, I don't want this? And what they decide to do to me and blacklist me, and I become like the targeted bad guy in their world. So it parallels
That's
real
cool.
life. What happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tell some people about kind of what happened with that situation.
Oh, yeah. No. So part of that is also when I'm trying to figure out what happened to me with the blood, that like these people took my blood. I find an old bookstore, and where this old man, William, has a dilapidated bookstore called the Cloak and Codex. And he gives me a book called the Mutus Liber, which is a real alchemical book written in like the 1600s, and that gives me information on my bloodline and like how to do alchemical spells and harness like all that power. Awesome. So yeah, it's a really, really cool story. But it does parallel to me what happened in real life, because I was a performer in New York City, and I mean, this book has no politics in it, but in reality, why everyone turned on me was because of my politics. If you could imagine, in New York City, in the performing art scene, everyone's super SJW, and I'm not. So I was like, you know, voting for Trump, you know. And once people kind of found out that I was a Trump person, it became like wildfire. It was like, she's an evil Nazi. Let's get rid of her. Let's blacklist her. You can see on my pinned tweet a lot of the stuff they said about it on my Martina profile. A lot of the stuff they were saying, and they were just like, let's get her out. Let's make sure she never works again. And they did it. They kicked me out of the scene and totally, you know, destroyed my career and made me a pariah. So now I'm here doing the comic book, bringing Lady Alchemy back to life to tell the story about it. Yeah,
this is all because you were a threat to them. Because this is actually somebody who she stands up for what normal people would stand up for. But only that, because of the scene you're in, right? You're a beautiful performer, and that to them was the biggest threat. Like if you were really hideous looking or something, they wouldn't have given a shit. It's because you were standing out amongst the crowd, and that's what really irritated them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's definitely a little bit of jealousy that was in this scene, because a lot of performers, especially in burlesque, so burlesque is like, you know, you get naked and stuff, and it's kind of that vibe. And I liked beauty, you know, and they looked at me as like, oh, this like generically pretty girl, you know, because what they were promoting was like fat, you know, burlesque girls, like tattoos, the weird stuff, pulling things out of their vagina, like anything weird or strange or bizarre was like cool and edgy to them. But Lady Alchemy to them was like, who does this girl think she is? Just pretty stuff. Okay. you know? So I think they definitely didn't like me anyway, but I also felt like weird vibes whenever I would interact with them. For example, one time it was like New Year's Eve, I was performing upstate in like Buffalo, and it was like cold and windy. I had all my luggage and costumes, and I just thought like, is there a man that can help me with my luggage, getting it into the thing? Because men have more upper body strength, you know, and men like to feel useful to ladies and be like, I did something, you know, nice for a lady. So the other girls are like, we don't need men. And I'm just like, how? Yes, we do. Like, I mean, that's retarded. We don't need men. Yeah, we do. Like, come on.
Well, because the fat ones are really strong, right? They just say, you know, lift with your legs.
Yeah, and so like those were like the weird kind of things where like I would say things that to me seemed normal. Like before I met my husband, I was like, oh, I really want to have kids. Like I need to find like a man, you know, I need to have kids soon. I'm getting older. And they're just looking at me like, oh, you don't need men. Men are accessories. Men are like toys to have fun with. And you don't need kids. And like, you know, so like it was just like weird vibes that like we just didn't fit a lot of the time.
You didn't mesh because they don't have a rationale. Their way of thinking is just so backwards. Because it's that whole thing of, we're so independent, we don't need anything. Yeah, it's those type of kind of those feminists. This new wave of them is very bizarre. How they operate, how they work, and what they do is put down other people like crazy. So, like, you know, a lot of people call CG a hate group, and that couldn't be further from the truth. This community has been so supportive and loving to one another, to the fans, to other creators, and this is more proof of it. You know. Those gross people are jealous of you. They kicked you out. They pushed you out. They tried to attack you. They've been attacking other big creators for the same reason. If they see you as a major threat, that you have a lot to say, that it has logic behind it or something, they want you gone. They want you out of the way. It's ridiculous how it's operated. You know, for me, I've been to a couple of burlesque shows, including like after parties at conventions, and it's supposed to be a fun class. It's supposed to be the tease element, you know, the dancing. It's a spectacle. It's supposed to be fun. They turned it into circus freaks doing really odd, bizarre things.
They turned it into circus freaks and like political lecturing. At my theater where I worked, like I got really annoyed because like one of the first actually that started the whole wave of, you know, getting attacked was the host, the singer at this place. And she was like a really big, like Black Lives Matter person. And I commented, again, this is on my like Twitter, if you like look it up. But I commented on another like beautiful Black lady that I worked that worked there. She wasn't a performer. She just was like a front of house, like server. And I said something about how she's like my friend or whatever. I consider her my friend. And the other girl goes, excuse me, miss, how do you consider this my Black sister, your friend? Like, aren't you a Trump supporter? Meaning like you're a racist and bigot and like homophobe and this and that. And I'm just kind of like, whoa, like, hold up. What are you talking about? Chill, you know?
It's ridiculous. They just want to put you in that box. If they can't put you in that box, you know, they get so upset and offended by it. Yeah, right. Because if you vote for Trump, you're racist. How does that work? You know what I mean?
And I said, I was like, I'm polite to anyone. Sense. Like, I respect anyone that's like respectful to me, you know? And that girl was, I considered my friend, and there's, you know, nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah, no, my point was also that girl that said that to me, that started this wave. She was the singer, the host at the nightclub. And, she would say things on stage that was very racist. She would just attack white people all the time. And she would say like, oh, you just need you white girls, you know, and like be really derogatory and say like, you need like black dick in you or something. Sorry, I don't know if this is like PG.
Don't worry about
it. But like, it was really vile and it was really like pointed and political. And they had a lot of like Hillary Clinton acts. They had a lot of like anti-Trump acts, making him really derogatory. It was all very, very political. And I remember it bothering me, but like I had to hold it in because, you know, I knew that everyone around me was like an SJW. So it was just kind of like rolling my eyes.
They would have crucified you right there on stage.
Yeah. So
we know that.
Political, but like if I have my private life that's the opposite of their politics, suddenly like it's a problem, like at work. You guys bring it to work all the time. What are you talking about?
Right? It's those people exactly who do that shit. You know, I've worked with so many different types of people, artists and whatnot, and it is a strange mix. It's the people who are ones who aren't saying anything. You could feel it in the air, man. You could definitely feel it. It's ridiculous. Keep that shit away. You don't talk about what they always said, sports and politics. You don't bring those two up, especially in the work environment. It's ridiculous because people go batshit crazy when it comes to all that stuff.
And that's something that also was the difference between my book that I'm working on now and my old team, because they kept kind of interlacing certain political things. They had associations with like the alt-right in there, like Baked Alaska stuff, and like little things that I was like, can you not put that in there? I was like, can we not get involved? Like, I want this to be purely like metaphorical, you know, no direct politics involved in this book. So
like I said, it's the smartest thing getting rid of them and starting from the start again, because this shit is just, it's putrid what they do. And it's exactly what the mainstream is doing in their own stupid way. You know, this guy thought he was more clever about it and clever on how he was trying to milk that money from your pocket, you know, and using your name just to get himself a little bit more money and attention, because that's all that shit was.
That's all it is.
You know?
Yeah.
Because what happened when you fired him? That's what he did. He ran to the enemy. He ran to like the antis. And
he's now working with anti-ComicsGate people to attack me. He's now, acting like an SJW, trying to do takedowns, trying to like act like, oh, she's a thought, you know? And it's like, if you thought that stuff about me this entire time, what the hell were you working with me for? Why were you taking like thousands of dollars from me this whole time? What was the point of all that? But now suddenly, like, you take every SJW and anti-ComicsGate stance against me. Okay, cool. Yeah. You just showed who you are.
Yeah, it's like I said, they are so hypocritical on everything that they do. It's really sad and pathetic. But yeah, like, don't worry about any of that stuff. You're headed in the right path. More people are going to be helping you out. You have the support. I've been seeing it, you know, on my chat, on other people's. You know, Thanks. Even when you went on work campaign that night, you know, we were doing the drawing stream. You know, we were all having fun. I know they took it a little too far sometimes. That's what Earl likes to do. But you rolled with it. You had fun. You know.
Yeah. At first, it was like funny because I was like, what? They're calling me a thought or whatever. And then like I heard them talking about like Gina's a 10. Martina's like an 8, but like Gina's a 10. And I was like getting offended. But then I realized that they're talking about a guy in a wig. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get what's happening.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I get what's happening. Like, I'll roll with it. I get it.
Yeah. Hail Gina.
But at first I was like, calling me an 8? What?
But yeah, that's the whole thing, right? It's that what do you call it? Like the negging nonsense. But it doesn't matter. The thing is, and the point of it is that you did have a lot of fun. I'm surprised how much you sat there and you took. Because I mean, even during the stream, I even told him to go fuck himself at one point. But again, that's how it is, right? We're brothers and sisters in this. We poke fun at one another, but at the end of the day, we are supporting one another like crazy. You know, those drawing streams were supposed to draw more attention to the creators. You know, let everybody have fun, let loose. That's why it's on D Live, that kind of stuff. So, hail War Campaign, hail everybody involved in that. I want to give an update too. Gat did receive all the comics of Vestige. He's going to start fulfilling very, very soon. He's got all the boxes in his house, so that is awesome.
You guys were like held up a little, or Vestige was held up a little bit, right? There's some coronavirus.
I think there was some kind of
holding on to the packages somewhere.
Yeah, miscommunication, I believe, with DHL, but they got that all sorted out. My printer, I think, took care of that. But yeah, so it's all amazing stuff. Again, I'm at print right now. In fact, I got to call back my printer right after we're done. They were calling in the middle of this. But yeah, the main book is going through. I just put the order in before for the ash cans. So I think I'm going to make these available as well for the people who, I guess, they missed out on the first 60 days, because this is a free gift for those backers. But I might make a separate tier now and do like a limited run of these. So for anyone who missed out on them, I mean, like I said, they're loaded with, sketches and behind the scenes stuff from the actual comic, and including I have some artwork from the other artists in ComicsGate who took part in the drawing stream, including the runner up. He's got a full page, Doodle Bags, and
that's cool. So can you explain to me? I've heard people talk about Ashcan a few times. So what does that like mean?
Well, it's kind of like back in the day where they were kind of like almost like throwaway stuff. That's why they gave them the name Ashcan. They were never supposed to be like super high quality, but like they have like leftover stuff, drawings, sketches. For me, like I have like a lot of layouts and stuff from the book. So just a lot of different things. But I also threw in like in the very back, I tossed in some cool images of the very first concept artwork of my main characters. So the very first time I painted them, the actual kind of like mood I wanted to get. Like this was a speed painting. Sorry, it's glare on there. I did that one like in 30 minutes when I first came up with the whole concept. So I figured like some of that behind the scenes stuff, like I was gonna show that off, so more people could kind of get an idea of like how I work. And I mean, people really dig it, So like, if you go to conventions, it's usually they'll put together like sketchbooks, little sketchbooks like that. I've done one, on I think it was like my second campaign. But yeah, it's that added kind of fun stuff that I think people dig. That one's 20 pages. So I already heard from a few people that they're upset that they missed out on it. So I might do like maybe $15 for that, free shipping, domestic. International you're gonna have to pay a little bit on that, but it's small, so it's light, so it shouldn't be too much extra. But yeah, I want to make some stuff available anyway.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so like I said, we're doing our best. We're listening to other people and what they're doing with their campaigns. We're all learning from one another. Through the Woods is my 5th campaign in a year. I've been running campaigns nonstop since I got fully into it. Yeah, that's why I felt like
this guy did 5 in a year, and I got 14 pages in a year. Ridiculous.
It's insane. But the thing is, like, I try to make sure that I have finished product before I even launch my campaigns. I try to urge more people, get as close to done as you can before you launch. It's the best advice. So at least the pencils, get those done. Because I think it's really important as a backer myself, as a fan of everything. A lot of people don't like to wait. People will, but if they don't have to, it's even better. I think that's how I built up the name for myself. They gave me a lot of names. War Campaign called me the Boner King because all of my hot chicks elevate them. But the fans have been calling me the Fulfillment King. There's also Angry Vinny, because every time we talk about the mainstream and how Joe Quesada fucked me over, I really go off. Because I was supposed to work on Spider-Man. That son of a bitch put his friend in instead.
Wow.
I've got stories. I've got stories. I almost beat the fuck out of him at a Toy Fair after party because he ripped off my artwork.
Oh,
funny thing. While I was interviewing Dan Frega last night, Marvel was doing some kind of stream. Joe Quesada and that CB Silbeski idiot, and someone ran over in chat and was putting hail everywhere. And then they called out Joe for stealing my artwork, and they said that the two of them, you see the fear in their eyes. So fuck them. They know we know.
They know.
And that's the thing, right? It's not even about calling out for a fight or anything. This is educating people on what kind of scumbags there are in that industry. That's why it's falling apart. It's not just because of this virus. The virus is just expediting this. They're going down no matter what because they got garbage and they need to clean house in there. I keep telling everyone, send Smiller over with a book of matches, and that way Marvel and DC are all cleaned out.
Yeah, no, it kind of sucks because it's like I've had so much drama in my life. I just want to make comic books and be done with drama. Like I really, really do. But yeah, I mean, like you say, if you got a clean house, I guess what needs to be done.
Well, Yeah, because it's really sad what's going on, but it's up to us now, right? We're picking up the torch. We're running with this, and I think we're doing a great thing here. We're gonna get more projects out there, more beautiful stuff. You know, some we got to wait a little bit longer on. Others are starting to fulfill even during this. That's my goal. I want to start fulfilling by like mid-April. Just as soon as I get the books, I get all my products. I already have my bookmarks are in. Uh, these are beautiful.
Yeah.
These are the famous butt shot that everyone loves. But yeah, so we're getting there. I'm thrilled about it too. It's going to be a lot more work, but in the meantime, still doing other freelance work here and there in the mix of everything else. It gets time consuming. That's why I look like I've been hit by a truck. I haven't been sleeping at all anymore. But yeah, we do what we can. But since we did bring up Through the Woods, I'm going to share that really quick as well. We're getting really close to 30K on this. We're less than 1,000 away. So yeah, this is going to start fulfilling this month. So anybody, everyone, if you haven't gotten it yet, please jump on it. Not only are, well, at least the first 500 backers, they're getting the ash can included with the book itself, the bookmark. But for everybody, like anyone who's been backing after, because March 20th was the cutoff and all that. But anyone who's backing after, you still get the hardcover book, which you guys helped unlock. We upgraded that one. You're getting the bookmark. Those two things are guaranteed yours. And I'm also throwing in a free gift for everyone. It's going to be a surprise gift. Each person is going to get something a little bit different. But I'm keeping it as a surprise. I want it to be kind of like Christmas when you open up the box and be like, oh shit, like you weren't expecting this.
I love that. That's great.
So yeah, I mean, anyone who gets it first or whatever, if you want to take photos, go ahead, put it up. But I'm not saying what people are getting. It's going to be kind of like a surprise. So yeah, please continue to back this. I would really appreciate hitting 30K. I know it's tough times right now, but do what you can. And if you can't, at least retweet, share these things out. There's a lot of great stuff happening in here. If you guys know me and my reputation, I do deliver. You're going to get a great product, the highest quality. The pages are the thickest you're going to find. Even my floppies are that way. The thickest paper quality. The covers, I mean, the cover alone on even the ash can's kind of thick. But like on City of Venus, this thing is, I mean, you could hear it. It's like a piece of glossy cardboard. This thing is nice and thick. So, and that's what I mean. And I go all out. I'm not even making much profit on the hardcover because, again, it's very expensive. So every penny counts on this. But I did my numbers, so all you guys don't worry about it. You're getting your books. We're printing right now. So, yeah, jump on this as soon as you can. I have a lot of different things I did with this campaign. A lot of cool different story elements as well. I've said it multiple times, but when we go into the past, because this story takes place in present day, but we have flashbacks to about 100 years in the past. So our main character, Laura Langley, she inherits this property in upstate New York, in the Hudson Valley. Very cool. So none of her other relatives wanted this because it's kind of rumored to be haunted. There's other things going on. And the history about it, when she finds out, is really kind of eerie to her because there was really horrible, tragic events that went down. And that's why kind of like the loggers camp was shut down and everything was kind of like, left by itself. But yeah, she's kind of led to this old cabin in the back of her property. And that's where she kind of reawakens a restless spirit, accidentally, of course. And then we kind of see how the story unfolds and the research she does. So when I go into the past, I go into like this kind of sepia, like on this page. And there's a pivotal part in the comic where it's kind of like I wanted the viewers to be sucked into what's going on. Like if they're looking at a photograph and we're just kind of pulled into it immediately. So like each page kind of leading up into the big event that happens, I could put a little bit of color as I'm going through it. So as you're reading it, you're kind of being like sucked into that moment. So by the end of it, it's like you're there with them, you know, watching this as projects or something, you know. So
so
it's
you
something.
cut in and out a little bit for me, but what were you saying about the sepia? Is that the past in the sepia?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what I was saying is there's like a pivotal part in the story where I slowly start to put color. So as we get to the big main thing that happened, it's like you're there with them, like you got pulled into the story, you got pulled into the photograph, you know, that kind of. I wanted to change something up because usually if you're reading a comic book, it's either one or the other. If we go into the past, it's just straight up sepia, present day's color, because we don't want to confuse people. But I was doing it a different way, and that's the beauty of it. Is we don't have to listen to people who don't know their asses from their elbows, trying to muscle in their own agendas and bullshit and what they think is going to work. You know, I helped co-create this, so I know where I was going with it. Yeah, my brother Frank is the main writer on this, but I did the first draft of the first issue, so it was going to be a horror book, but we made it a little bit more ghost and suspense. So like when he came in, we kind of decided to do that. That way we hit a larger audience and not just kind of like that really niche horror market. Well, because it was going to be gory. I mean, this is kind of the last page of the first issue. What I originally had was someone being split in half by that axe.
Oh my!
And I thought it would have been too much of a bloodbath. But this is more PG-13-ish. There's some slightly adult things that happen, you know,
Like
gore-wise.
Like when I was on my stream, booty.
Well, booty's there. We're gonna have some cheesecake just to break it up nicely. There's no explicit pornography, nothing like that. This is just, you know, like you're watching a cool horror movie. You're gonna have elements of cheesecake and, you know, hot stuff. But, I mean, the booty's there. The booty's there. No worries. We always got the booty. But yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to on this. City of Venus was the other campaign. This one's staying live as well, at least for a while. This has the exclusive Volume 2 art book attached to this campaign. So if you guys do want to back this post-apocalyptic kind of story that I created, this was kind of like my baby from the beginning. You know, it's a story that I've wanted to tell for a very long time. And throughout the years, it evolved into what it is. And I used to work on it in between other freelance gigs until I got, like, you know, at the midway point. And then I was doing this and Through the Woods at the same time, which is not easy. But, you know, I pulled it off. Anytime I butted heads with my brother, I'm like, yeah, fuck off. Now I'm working on this one for now for a couple weeks. But again, you know, the creative process, working alone and working with someone, you're going to have back and forth when you're with somebody else. If you're by yourself, it still brings challenges. You'll have more to do, but you have to be your own editor as well, which becomes kind of difficult because you want to know, like, what's going to work and not be too much, or if you're spending too much time on something that you don't have to. But this story alone, this was kind of brought up from like those those Bilderberg people, those nefarious ones that you know, control behind the scenes. So I said, well, what if these people really got their way? As a hypothetical, what would happen? Well, the world would be destroyed. So this story takes place so far into the future where I could play with all these kind of different elements and kind of what those people were doing. So the world is like pretty much like void of all power. That's why it's really named Dead City. It's the floating city in the sky is the only thing that, like, it's like that's their central hub, and, you know, where the elite are. But you find out kind of like they're still trying to figure out, they want to prolong their lives. That's the ultimate goal for them. Since they pretty much got everything they want to live forever, you know? Because it's like those sneaky people, those nasty ones. They're afraid to die. They don't want to lose everything that they have. So they experiment on the people that they do find. And it's a very bleak world. I mean, there's not a major society, anything. There is like scavengers in the tens that are kind of roaming around underneath all this rubble and shit. So I also took like the idea of Chicago. Like when they had their big fires, they just built on top. So if there was a number of different wars and things that happened over the years, they just kept rebuilding until one really big event kind of really knocked out everything. So yeah, we got our scavengers kind of living underneath all of that. And yeah, enter my main character, who she stumbles upon one of these survivors. And that's kind of where the story is going to take place. And you're going to see how, like, my characters, she doesn't really fit in. She doesn't know what's really going on either. But over the course of the story, you're going to find out how she got there, what the backstory was. And yeah, a lot of other really cool and interesting things that I don't want to spoil. But so yeah, if anyone who hasn't backed this, you back it right away. I mail it out right away. These are all on hand. You know, so there's really not much of a wait. So if you're trapped at home and want to read more comics, here's some more cool ones to get. And I do want to showcase graded 0.5 Optimus with Scott from Door Kickers. They came up with a really cool project. Yeah, this Peregrine Wings of the Falcon. This just launched the other day. They're doing amazing numbers on it. I think this is another beautiful book if you're into the superhero stuff and you want to see more of that. I always do like a little bit of a showcase, at least on other books, while I'm doing interviews and stuff. So yeah, just to give people a little bit of a break and to keep their eyes on something really cool. If you haven't backed these things, go for it. Yeah, there's a lot of great creative people behind it, and also Sunsworn.
Yeah, I noticed that one too.
Yeah.
I think Farah maybe did the coloring for that or something.
I'm not 100% sure who did.
I was looking around for all sorts of artists and stuff, and I came across, I think, that picture that someone colored.
Yeah, Farah. Yeah, Farah.
Yeah, she's really talented. Which
is amazing. Yeah, we like I said, we got so many great artists here. And this is what I'm talking about. So jump on this stuff. We got really great stuff. Yeah, I was saying my friend Red Gaze, he also has a great campaign for those who they want to take a crack at a novel. He's got his own right here, Sunsworn, Edge of Annihilation. This is going to be over 300 pages. And this is like his kind of replacement for Star Wars. If you're into all that kind of stuff, I did the cover. Which is just, these characters were amazing. It was fun to work with him on this. I pulled up one of these kind of StreamYards and we just had like a private chat as I was drawing it all out. So I think he even has, I don't know if it's on the campaign itself, but he has like a time lapse of me doing the actual composition and the drawings of this. So I thought it was pretty cool. This one was done by Carla Tornielli, the artist and co-creator of The Grim Reaper. She's doing the cover to the visual companion. So that's the cool thing. Since he's got a novel, he wanted to give a little bit more of something for people to sink their teeth into. So he's doing a companion art book to really like showcase these characters and get you more familiar with this world. And as you're reading it, maybe you'll get these characters pictured in your head nice and clearly. So yeah, check this one out too. He's very close from getting funded. I say the real main goal on this one would be 15K because it's going to unlock the audio version, and you're going to want to hear Red reading this because he's got one of the best voices in ComicsGate. He's done a lot of trailers for people, including my own, which is really cool. Yeah, he's at 33.31. He's only asking for 3,500, so he's right there, 5% to go. So if you guys haven't, grab this one. But yeah, so yeah. Any other questions from the chat or things that you might want to say, Martina?
No, I think I went over everything. Unless people have questions in the chat, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what they have. What do you guys got? You guys got? Someone said they looked up some Lady Alchemy performance stuff. I was like, well, the thing is, in New York, you probably know this, Vinny. New York is like theater. So we don't do we're not like Hollywood where we do videos and stuff like that. It's live performance. And there's something about live performance that's just really different and refreshing to have people perform live in front of you. So most of my stuff was mostly live, so it kind of sucks because it's just out there, happened in the world, and then didn't happen, and it's gone now. But yeah, if you guys want to check out any performances, you can always go to lady-alchemy.com if you're interested in the real Lady Alchemy. And then that can kind of give you a little background on the performer aspect of Lady Alchemy and the character for the comic book. Costumes, all sorts of fun stuff in there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, Peter, she's married. Someone asked if you were single. Oh, Drew, yeah, I'm doing a cover right now for the sequel to Captain Love. So this is the Rise of the Pirate King. I actually, yeah, I'm getting very close to finishing that one. I don't know if I should be showing it on here or not. No, I want to get a little further along. Like I said, I'm very close to finishing it, Drew. So I will be showing that. I put up a teaser, and I know it's probably driving him crazy. I just have like a close up of his the hauler, like the space shuttle that the main character owns and has. And I know he wants to see the full thing. But it's coming, buddy. It's coming. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're good. So I want to thank everybody who came out. I think we had a fun little chat. Got to know Martina a little bit better.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, Vinny, for helping support me all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, you're one of us. Yeah, so hail everybody. Thank you again. Yeah, we're going to do some more cool showcases. And if anyone hasn't subscribed, please subscribe. I don't just showcase comic book creators. I've also done celebrity interviews. I've talked to martial arts experts. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. I want to get on an animator as well from Ren and Stimpy, one of my good friends, Bob Camp.
No way.
Oh yeah, this guy's got the best stories. He's so fucking cool. But yeah, I've had on Lee Ehrenberg from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's a little guy who went, "Hello, puppet." Yeah, he's awesome. I think he wants to return as well, which is awesome. So probably when I launch my pirate book, he was pressuring me for a cameo in that. So I think I'm going to put him in there somewhere. But yeah, he's a great guy. If you guys haven't checked out that interview, please go back and look at it and rewatch the Dan Frega interview from last night. We had a great turnout on that one as well. He's going to come back. We're going to finish the conversation because we wanted to get more into cool stuff from Bruce Lee because we're both kind of like really big fans of that. So yeah, thank you everybody. Subscribe, hit like, and yeah, remember, be kind to one another, but kick ass while you create. Later.